Welcome to Cringy's Utopia. What? Is this thing on? Psych, I'm actually using this microphone. So today I'm going to be talking about some of the things that went into the production of making my film, The Great Samurai Squabble, which I created for Bricks in Motion, and I did a blog post about it, which you can read, and I recommend you read that and watch the film before you continue on with this piece of garbage. So when I make brick films, I want each individual one to be better than the last one. I want to jump out of my comfort zone a little bit. I want to try something new that maybe hasn't been done before, at least something that I haven't done before. The comfort zone is pretty cringe, to be honest. Every single time I finish a brick film project, I feel like I've learned a lot more about the art of making a brick film, of making an animation, of making a film. So I thought, why not chronicle the things I've learned in video form? So when I'm older and wiser, I can look back on myself and say, wow, that guy was dumb. And for you guys too. Who knows, maybe something I say in here might be helpful. Then Lego Ninjago fight the Great Samurai Squabble. Ninjago, more like cringe-jago, am I right? So things that I did to push me out of my comfort zone on this film, okay? This film was my first film doing storyboards and animatics, which, you know, I used to think that doing storyboards and animatics was kind of just like, you know, the big leagues do that, but, you know, brick filmers, they don't have to, and which is kind of true, you know. But I think I'd say that storyboards and animatics are absolutely invaluable for action films. At least in the animatic side, the main purpose is to like get a feel for how your film is paced. And with action scenes, I feel like it's very, very easy to get the pacing all wonky and weird if you don't plan it out ahead of time. So I think a lot of problems that I would have had in production and in editing were solved just by drawing a few garbage sketches and sticking them on the wall, photographing them, and then putting them into a timeline. They got me into the headspace of thinking how this film would look. It's real neat. My idea for the cinematography and scripting was a lot more abstract than when I actually went and drew it out on the storyboards. And it was like, oh, here's what I can realistically do. This would be cool if I did this thing on a multiplane and maybe got this cool whatever. So I think for action scenes with lots of cinematography, camera movement, I think it's absolutely invaluable. It was at this very moment that an absolute buffoon of a human being at times bumped the mute button on his microphone. Hi. Hopefully it's not too jarring that I changed locations. Let's just keep going. I talk in depth about animating with brickheads in the blog post I did for Bricks in Motion. I specifically answered the question, do I think brickheads are good for brick filming? And I said, I won't tell you. You'll have to read to find out. So go check out the article. It's in the description. It was really cool to get more in-depth facial animation, like the ability to be able to do that with the eyebrows and the blinking motion. Because that's not something you can usually do practically with Lego minifigures. Also in this film, I, for some reason, decided to do a multiplane. Pretend this is the camera and I am the set, and so it's looking straight down at the set, where in stop motion it's typically looking straight on. But this is looking straight down, you see? And it's taking pictures this way. There's, typically with a multiplane, there's a few glass layers for like the main character, the background, the further background, so you can get interesting camera movement. That's not usually done with stop motion. Sanjira, who is a brick filmer, and he made a really interesting film using a multiplane as well as a tutorial, so I'm like, I might want to try this out someday. I don't know if you could call what I did a multiplane because it only has one plate of glass, so maybe it's just a plane. It looked a little bit easier than it was. Lighting it was not easy. I don't know if I just have highly reflective glass or something, but I just could not get rid of this camera reflection, which was very painful. It was not good. The lighting on that shot does not look great because it was almost impossible to get no reflection. I think I just had garbage glass. But doing a multiplane was a super fun little exercise for me. It opened up lots of new opportunities for like action scenes, because in the scene, there's two characters flying in the air towards each other in slow motion. And doing that with rigs would have been like a nightmare to edit. I was able to remove most of the camera reflection in Photoshop, but if you look closely, it's still there. Ah! If you have any light like above the camera, it's like, it's bad. I also, when editing this film, realized how important sound design is to an action scene. Just adding in all the whooshes and punches and like impact sound effects. So like for example, here's a thing. I never cared for That was a dumb example, but sound design is so important, especially to an action brick film. Some things I'd redo if I had the chance. There's like 2 specific really gross looking lighting setups. I don't know, there are just some days where I just like didn't want to light. Lighting's probably my least favorite part of the animation process, just like ugh. So another thing that is bugging me so much, in the scene where they go slow motion in the sky, the dragon smacks Lloyd this way, and then Lloyd falls in the next scene into the table from this angle. So it goes from this angle and then comes in at this angle. That just logically doesn't make sense. That's a disobedience of the laws of physics. Ninjago, am I right? I think I would want to pay more attention to the atmosphere that's created in the film. I feel like each individual shot sort of has a different vibe to it than the last one. Really important to me, like, keep the vibe consistent. Maybe that could be achieved through color correction, but I don't know how to do color correction. That's my reflection behind the scenes type of video on Lego Ninjago, the great Scrammer Spaghetti Squash Man. That's what the film's called, right? I'm grateful to Real Force for asking me and allowing me to participate in the Lego Ambassador Network Brickfilm shenanigans, and thank you for all your positive feedback on the film, everyone who gave it a nice comment or whatever. It means a lot to me. Check out my film and check out Bricks in Motion's blog post. They're a very good brick filming website. I cannot stress that enough. Keep on brick filming or brick film watching, because that is awesome, and make sure to live your life to the fullest, because it's short and there's only one of them. So do it, and that is good, and bye.